Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is a special edition of The Pupil's Life, and it's not because I've got a fucking guest or because it's Halloween or any of that bullshit. It's because I'm pissed off right now. Not pissed off. I'm a little bit flustered. Some very immature people got to me because I wrote a story a few months ago. I wrote a story about a night out with a couple of coworkers, right? I'm just gonna fucking jump straight into it, No bullshit right now. Just cut to the chase. I wrote a story about a night out with a few coworkers, and this was a few months ago. And this night was fucking my worst nightmare, right? You go out to loud bars and loud, just obnoxious people. You can't hear anyone. You can hear them, but you can't understand them. And I went out with two people I didn't know very well. My coworkers. I just started the job. I was like, make some friends, right? And we get there, and the whole fucking night just turned into us like chasing this duo of girls that one of our coworkers was into, and it was like they weren't interested, right? Or they were, but they were playing that game that people think they have to play so that people will like them. It's like, we're gonna go to the bathroom, and then like a half an hour later they're still not back, and they come back and they're drunker, and they don't even come back, right? We find them somewhere else, and it's just like, fucking, why are we spending so much time with women who don't want to be spending time with us, dude? Like, basically that was me and one coworker were telling this other coworker, like, dude, get fucking over it. Let's just enjoy ourselves and spend time with each other, right? This fucking, I've never been out with you guys. Like, the fuck am I here for? Just so I could stand around while you fucking ignore us, because you're worried about this girl that you met off of Tinder a week ago. And I mean, a lot of crazy shit happened, right? If you want to read the story, you can read it on my Medium account or profile or whatever the fuck. You'll find it. It's the one that stands out, right? Among a bunch of stories about my fucking feelings and my life. It's the one that stands out. Because it's just about this whole night. And yeah, a lot of other crazy shit happened. Things I didn't feel very comfortable with, right? Things that I have done in my past that I'm trying to get away from. I was now being involved in. And so I felt like, all right, I've got to process this, So I wrote a story about it. I tried to make it a little bit funny. Changed everyone's names, changed a bunch of details, made it unrecognizable, right? I called one of the female characters Hispanic girl. I'm fucking half Mexican, right? Like, Hispanic girl, the fucking, does that paint a picture or not? Like, why are people so goddamn, like, oh my god, he called us by our ethnicity. Yeah, you fucking, do you not like that? Like, it's not like I'm using a racial slur or an ethnic slur or whatever the fuck. I'm just calling you by what you are, and I'm not saying that that's all you are, right? That's your projection. I'm just calling you by part of what you are. And if I didn't call you by your personality and all of your second place trophies, it's because I don't fucking know you, right? I saw you that one night, and I tried to not be around you guys or anyone because it was fucking gross. Um, yeah. But getting away from the judgmental, right? Like, yeah. So the story came out. I like my coworkers and I. We weren't really close enough to be on social media yet. So cut to present day. I think it was a few days ago. Well, by the time you listen to this, it'll have been fucking a week or some shit. I don't know. The way that I'm recording these. But yeah, like let's say it was a week ago. The story comes up right in conversation with this coworker who was obsessing over that girl that night. Let's just call him fucking the name he has in the story, Harry. Right, is what I changed his name to. Harry and I, he just at work. He won't ever stop talking about this girl. Like it's just, yeah, bro. Like I might have herpes, and like it's like, what? What am I missing? Right? Like, if a girl gave me herpes, uh, probably not gonna talk to that girl again. Except for to say, "Oh, thanks a lot," right? When she texts you, like, "Oh, by the way, I may have had herpes." Like, that's as much as we're gonna converse. I don't wanna. Why would I continue? Just why, right? But anyway, this fucking guy, he talks about this shit at work all the time. He's like, "Oh, we broke up again. Oh, we did this again. Oh, I cheated on her 10 times already. Oh, but it's fine because I'm young." Ugh. And I used to think that way when I not really like I never thought about it as fucking sociopathically as this guy seems to be thinking about it. But I didn't really care, right? I was so concerned about my own feelings that I was like, yeah, I mean, this feels so miserable, right? That I've got to do something, and less about like, oh, I can get away with it. I'm fucking like this doesn't matter. It's like, no, I knew that it mattered all the time. But this fucking guy doesn't seem to care, right? And so this story comes up in conversation, and because he's asking me like, oh, you should write something about me, or like, have you ever written something about me? And I'm like, yeah, I've actually have. And so I told him about the story. I'm like, I'm not gonna hide this from you. You know, it's out in the public domain. He seemed excited to read it, and then he left work and he texted me, 30 minutes later, and just fucking was like, "Oh my god, wow, you hurt my feelings." And I said, "Sorry you feel that way. I'm glad you read it." And fucking text me back like, yeah, you can't be calling women overweight. She's not fat. She's thick. I need booty. And I'm just like, and I was like, oh, this guy's just fucking like he's kind of making fun of it, right? Like he enjoyed it. He saw it for what it was, and he's just trying to like talk shit. And so I was like I just didn't even reply, right? Because I'm like, oh, haha, like end of conversation. and And then he texts me like, really? And I said, and I don't even respond. It's just next text, wow. And then the next text, shaking my head. That's disrespect. And I'm just like, dude, what? Then I'm not fucking replying. You know, get a fucking life, dude. Get a fucking life and just stay out of mine. I've told, how many times do you think people that I've told them at work, like, hey, buddy, sorry you're going through that, but I don't want to talk to you about this, right? I don't want to be a part of your fucking deceitfulness and your lies and your manipulating of women and other people just to your fucking emotional advantage. Obviously, that's not... I don't say that whole thing. That would be kind of hard to remember and to have said multiple times. But I'm just like, dude, yeah, it sucks. Sorry. I hope it gets better. I don't know what you want me to say, right? And he's just always like, oh, but I need your advice. Like, yeah, why are you doing this to me? Like, he just becomes a victim. And I'm like, dude, if I ran this place, I would be saying, you're fucking fired. Get the fuck out of here. And you fucking never come back, right? You pick up your shit and you get the fuck out of here. And then you turn around and you never come back. All right, Harry? You pick up your shit and then you get the fuck out of here, right? But I'd hold my hand up like I'm holding up a phone to my ear, right? And just like to point back, and you get the fuck out of here. And just pointing. That's stupid. I can't describe a physical joke that I'm doing. That's why I gotta film this shit. Anyway, this fucking Harry guy. I'm like, all right, I don't make anything of it. I ignore him. Ultimately, he stops texting me, and then come to find out, a couple days later, I look on my fucking my there's comments from these people, right, coming into my inbox from the two women, right, because he's still fucking seeing that girl. And this girl and her friend, they reach out to me and they're like, just terrible grammar for starters, terrible grammar, and like a lot of exclamation points and a lot of like, I'm holding back, but, and like insults followed, right? Like, I'm just saying, I'm holding back, I'm a hold back, but, and then like, you're fucking racist, sexist, and judgmental. Are there any qualities you don't have? And I'm like, fucking, hey, good to know I hit the mark, right? in describing a night that felt very fucking, just like the worst displays of men and women, right? Because it's not about women or men individually. It's about both, right? And just showing a part of the world that is, and the judgmental part I'm not so sure about, because there's a lot of, I don't know how much of the story they actually read, right? And how much of that they just kind of glimpsed and skipped through to where their name was, or their alter ego, and how much of it was vanity, right? I bet you they fucking enjoyed reading that shit, right? That shit was 20 minutes long, right? You can't tell me you didn't enjoy something if you read it for 20 minutes. So ultimately, I'm not like upset about this, right? But it's just this fucking kind of nagging voice from people when you write about them, and it's like they just see, like, they're so ashamed. First of all, they're so ashamed of what is happening in the things that you're writing about, that is the real reason they dislike it, is because they don't want other people to know that they did this, right? It's like we all have to hide the dirty parts in our life. It's like, oh, your parents together? No, my parents are they're separated, right? You say separated instead of divorced, and it's like, dude, they're fucking divorced. my parents are still legally married, but they're fucking divorced. It's been, what, 20 years, 25 years? I don't even know how long they've been married or divorced or separated. But yeah, most of the time, the things I'm writing about, it's like, dude, I've written things about me doing the exact same thing you're doing. How can you call it judgmental? How can you call it like, me kind of shitting on people, right? It's just the part of the human experience. And I just wrote a whole fucking book about me, and I wasn't being fair to myself, or not being fair to myself, but I wasn't being kind to myself. Like, I was telling you the fucking things that I'm ashamed of, things that I am not proud of, things that I wish I didn't have to tell you. But then you're gonna sit here and fucking tell me that I have to mask everyone else's personalities as well. It's like, nah, you can go you can go read my other 20-minute story that I'm gonna write about you in a year. If I ever fucking see you again, which I hope I don't. Um, yeah, like, come on, come on. What are you? You're gonna tell me that it's made up? You're gonna tell me that it's not real? You're gonna tell me that you didn't fucking put your arms on a guy and say, "Hey, listen. You told me you had a girlfriend. All right, like I don't want anything to do with you. Don't be that way. That's gross." And then this fucking guy just making you laugh for a little bit and making you feel sexy for a little bit, right? Because you're self-conscious. You're overweight. I'm not saying you're a fat piece of shit, right? Like there's a difference between you're overweight and you're yeah, like a negative judgmental thing about it. This is just a fact. And you're self-conscious about that, the way that I'm self-conscious about how fucking skinny I am, right? You think when I go, you think, you think when I go to the pool, and I'm just like, woo, time to take your shirt off, and everyone can see my ribs now, and my fucking, like, my shoulder blades, right, right, like, I'm not, I've got my own issues with self-image and shit. I understand. But you let this guy just charm you and make you feel good about yourself. And then knowing that he's got a girlfriend, you go and fuck him. you go and fuck this person that you know has a girlfriend. It's almost like all right, you wanna what are we pretending here? What are we pretending didn't happen? And why, right? Like, why are you ashamed that you fucking hooked up with a guy that you didn't know who could make his own decisions? And I don't know. Anyway, people. It's just like, get over yourselves. Get fucking over yourselves. Nobody knows who the fuck you are, because I don't even know who the fuck you are, and yeah. So I don't know, the nerve to just think that, like, oh, this is, I'm one of 7 characters in this 8,000 word story that 60 people read, who I have no clue where they're from or where in the world they are. I am entitled to I can't even play that part. Fuck, man. But anyway, so yeah, they reach out to me. This story's gone on way too long, but I've got to finish it now. They reach out to me, and what do? They send all these comments, and I'm sitting on the bathroom taking a shit, right, as I'm reading this, getting angry, and like, like, and I've been sitting there for so long that I start to smell the shit, right? I'm like, oh, how long have I been here? Like, why does the whole room smell like it now? and I think about, all right. I read about, like, there's this book publishing company that said if you ever get negative reviews, you're not supposed to ignore them. You're supposed to respond to them and do it correctly, so that you're kind of, if people are saying, oh, there's a lot of sexism in here, there's a lot of racism, et cetera, well, if they don't know that you're Hispanic, and then they just don't know how to fucking read, and so they don't understand that there isn't any racism, and there's a way that you can kind of prove it, that's a correct way of responding to one of the reviews. It's like, oh, like, and so I start crafting mine for this girl, and I'm like, it's hard to read about oneself and not feel defensive right away. I understand. I will have you know, I'm a fucking Mexican, right? I didn't hop over a fence or swim over a river, but I fucking lived over there. I did my time. I did my fucking time in the Yucatan, you know, with all those big-headed people over there. And I'm big-headed too. That's not me being anything. Um, but yeah, so I just tell her, I'll have you know I'm half Mexican, or yeah, I don't even have to say the half, right? I'm a fucking Mexican, right? Why diminish it? I'm a Mexican, and so just letting the readers, like other people who are maybe interested in reading this, know, like, okay, she felt angry as she read it. That's what I can infer from the review. But upon reading the author's response, I can tell, oh, like he seems like a pretty understanding dude, and so I still kind of, it's just I don't know, it's a fucking, I guess it's all appearances, right? All this fucking bullshit that isn't the art itself. And so I'm sitting on the shitter and I'm writing this super eloquent response, and then I'm thinking to myself, this isn't a fucking review. This is a YouTube comment. Like, this is a troll. This is just somebody fucking trying to troll and trying to fucking, I dislike what this person did because it's reflecting my own insecurities back at me and making me feel very uncomfortable with the truth. So I'm gonna shout at him about how this isn't the truth, so that I can believe that a little bit more myself. And I just, like, I don't have to. This isn't this isn't an Amazon review, right? Fucking, I don't have to reply to a message, like a private message or a fucking, even a comment. I don't have to reply to a comment. Yeah, and I think ultimately, like, that it spoke for itself, right? Uh, I think, yeah, and that's all that I'll say. That's all that I'll say on that matter. But what I did instead was I reached out to my coworker, Harry, and I was like, hey, Harry, hey, buddy, uh, maybe think twice next time that you show something of mine to that friend of yours. Um, Let me pull it up. Actually, I don't wanna make shit up. Yeah. I don't need her harassing me on social media, or you either. From now on, you and I are coworkers and nothing else. Respect that. And this fucking guy, he says, I didn't show her. I mentioned being angry about it, and she searched for it and found it. Like, these people are so fucking, like, cannot take any blame for any responsibility for their actions, right? Next time, think twice before you show my writing to your girlfriend. I didn't show her. I mentioned being angry about it, and she searched for it and found it. It's like, dude, just because you didn't send her the fucking link doesn't mean that you didn't show it to her and that she searched for it and found it. um, and he said, it keeps going. He's like, it was disrespect for you to tell me to read a story calling my girl overweight. You shouldn't have showed me it in the first place. And I'm like, all right, like, this guy's just in a very codependent relationship is the first thing you should know. And so I'm like, all right, this is as far as I'm getting myself into it, right? So I respond, this is not a conversation. Feel however you want to. At work, we respect each other. Outside, you don't talk to me. Don't text me again. And the conversation ended there. And then I thought about fucking, all right, I'm fucking revved up. And so I was like, I'll come and talk to you, right? I'll come and share some of my life with you. Share some of what's been going on with me. and hopefully entertain you in the process, right? Because ultimately, if you're here for anything other than entertainment or some kind of, I guess, feeling related to, then you're here for the wrong reasons. All right. I'm not trying to teach you about how to live your life. I'm not trying to teach you about fucking what's right or wrong. I'm just sharing shit that's happened, right? And some people are like, oh, well, who fucking gives a fuck about what happens to you? And like, I don't know. Maybe nobody, right? But I can't find out if I don't try. And I can't find out if I just suppress my creativity because, oh, well, who's gonna care? And it's like, fucking me, dude. I care. I enjoy doing this. I fucking care. This is becoming a fun part of my life, right? Of course I fucking care. And if people don't care, then that's a possibility. That might happen. But I don't know, people, you need to get over your, look at me. This is not me telling you how to live your life, but here I am. Fucking people, you need to get over your, yeah, no, forget about the advice, but just fucking, just know the context, right? The pupil's life, this is where you're gonna go gather your fucking information from. Nah, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. What else is up with me? I was invited to a Halloween party tonight that I had a fucking dope costume picked out for. But I have work tomorrow, and then I got distracted with this whole bullshit. So I guess I'm not going to that anymore. I guess if I didn't have to work at 8 in the fucking morning, like be up at 8 in the morning, I would go. I'd tell myself that I would go. I'd tell myself that I would go. But who knows? Maybe I wouldn't. It's just fun to think about, dressing up as some fucking kind of weird ass character, right? Raoul Duke from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, aka Mr. S. Thompson. And just going into a party with a bunch of fucking people that I don't know and being like, fucking, what's your name? Where are you from, right? Pretend that I'm in my 30s. I don't know. It sounds fun to me. I'm not sure that I would be able to navigate it quite so well. Because I just don't have the social skills. So I would probably just show up and be like, hey, here's the one person that I know. Let me talk to you for 5 minutes and then stand around and look at my phone. Or just sit down and look at people and then be misconstrued for like aggressive or something. I don't know. A fucking, what else is new? What else is fucking new in the I got my wallet. I got my new fucking wallet. I got my temporary fucking license. Because you can't just go online, right? And be like, I want a new license. Boom, Amazon. 3 to 5 days of shipping, right? None of the important shit in your life can be helped, aided by technology. And so instead, it's just like, here's an email so you can track when your fucking license is going to arrive. And you follow the link, and it's like 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not 4 to 6 weeks to send me a driver's license. You have a whole department that's just dedicated to that. And you have multiple offices in every city. This shouldn't take very long. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna wait that long. I don't know. Now that I have the temporary one, who gives a shit, right? And they made me forfeit my ID, which I also don't understand. It's like, am I gonna impersonate my own self and make up a fake ID? What What's the need for me to cut up my fucking ID? Oh man. I'm sorry. I'm just up past my bedtime. And I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at this point. I might just fucking end it there, right? Make it a short one, because this isn't even a real podcast. This is just a little sample, a little, like, here's a little bit of extra salt on your steak, right? Just so you know that I wanted to take care of you tonight, right? Here's a little bit of salt. Here's a little extra little gift for you, for those of you who are listening, and who don't find me offensive or inappropriate or fucking, you're the devil's work, son. You're just out there doing the devil's work, and you deserve to go to hell. And when you get there, you deserve to fucking burn hotter than the rest of them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in hell. I don't know if I believe in any of that shit, right? Apparently Kanye West made a new album, and it's all about Jesus. And it's like, it's about what? And he doesn't curse? And speaking of that, this is just a little short story. I was at work tonight, and one of my coworkers, we were all talking about the new album, me and two other guys, and one of them who hadn't heard it was like asking the guy that had heard about it. He was like, does he say the N-word? And it's just three white dudes, right? And this guy's like, does he say the N-word? And we have customers right in front of us. and all four of us are just, he's continuing to say, does he say the N-word? Like, because other rappers say the N-word, but I feel like they just use it like lightly, right? And like, and we're all just thinking the N-word, right? Because when somebody says, don't, like, oh, do you ever think of this, or don't think of this, like, the fucking, your brain just thinks of that. So he's saying the N-word, and we're all thinking about the N-word, and and it's just like, dude, you're the oldest one here. You're fucking almost 40 years old. Why are you the one that's making everyone uncomfortable? Yeah. But so I guess Kanye's rapping about the Lord now, and leaving the curse words out. Which I guess I can't say anything about it until I listen to it, right? But I'm just like, am I ever gonna listen to it? Probably not. Just probably not. Probably not, right? Like, it's like when people are like, oh, did you watch that new Paul Rudd show? Oh my god, it's so good. I'm like, probably not. Oh, you should watch it. And I'm like, probably not. Like, did you watch the new show with Danny McBride? Oh, it's so fucking funny. You should watch it. Are you gonna watch it? Probably not. There's so many fucking TV shows and so many shit that people want you to watch these days. It's like, yeah, you watch Chernobyl? Yeah. Have you watched fucking? Oh, like, it's like, the new Mad Men, right? It's not Mad Men. Mad Men ended a few years, but it's like Mad Men. If you watch the fucking Marvelous Miss Maisel, have you watched fucking the new Breaking Bad movie? Have you just everything? Just watch everything. Oh my god, dude, it's so claustrophobic to think that was my life at one point. Was just having a fucking list of all the shit that I needed to watch, right? Just here's my list of 100 movies that I need to watch before I'm 30, and here's fucking 25 TV shows that I'm keeping up with, right? I watch like 12 episodes a week. Yeah. How the fuck did I even function back then? Well, I guess I didn't. I mean, yeah, you look back, I feel like my life is one of those that progressively looks better the more you go on, right? Because when I was in my, let's say, 0 to 5s, and you're just watching this, right? If you watch this in a movie, and the 0 to 5s, it's just like, oh man, this is the making of a fucking monster right here, right? Parents just fucking, don't touch my fucking foot. Get your fucking foot away from my foot. And I'm just sleeping in between these two people at like 8 months. I'm just like, you get the fucking foot away from my shit. Like, I'm just forming all my own behavior, learning all these behaviors. And then 5 to like fucking 18 is just like, oh, start fucking drinking, get fucking blackout drunk at 13, and fucking get obsessed with women, like get like heavy codependent into relationships, and just feel like the world was like over, right? When all these relationships ended. And then stop caring about school, right? Because you figured out it was kind of a fucking, a little bit of bullshit act, right? It's like, don't wear a fucking hat under the roofs, or else we send you home, right? Like, I thought you were supposed to help me get educated, right? If you send me home, how's that gonna help? Just because I have a hat on? Like, what? But yeah, I stopped caring about school, and then fucking, I guess, when I enter my first serious relationship, I start cheating, right? I start doing all these hurtful things to myself and to others. And then I move away to college, and I just like, I'm just gonna pick up a little habit over here. Just you know that old little prostitution thing you hear about. Just gonna see what that's all about, right? Give me a few years here. I'm just gonna see what this whole thing is about. And that's when shit gets dark, right? I'm sure people listen to this and like, you can't make fun of that, okay? And yeah, and so the closer you get to my present day is like the better it gets, which I don't know. That's a good thing, right? And I don't remember where I was going with that. You see, that's the fucking problem with doing a podcast by yourself, is that you're the one, you have to move it in a certain direction, but you also have to keep up a conversation with yourself and remember, like, all right, you started a story about this. Oh wait, but there's a funny fucking thing about, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not going to, because you're not gonna start your own podcast, right? You're gonna say you are, and then you're gonna go home, and you're gonna be like, on the drive home, you're gonna be thinking about, like, oh yeah, maybe I will start a podcast, right? Maybe I'll start a podcast about fucking all the TV shows that I'm watching about. Maybe I'll start a podcast about this book, right? I'm knowledgeable. Maybe I'll start a podcast about book reviews. Maybe I'll do book reviews. And then you're gonna get home and you're gonna fucking be like, dude, I'm hungry, right? Make some fucking food. And they're like, oh, I gotta watch something, right? If I'm gonna eat, I gotta watch something. And so as you're making yourself like a big fucking dinner, right? You know, right around midnight, right before bed, just a big fucking acid reflux dinner. And as you're doing that, you're like, oh, what am I gonna watch tonight? You open up your list. There's 25 TV shows with new episodes on, and 10 movies that you could watch. And you're like, oh, let's just make a little bit of a dent right here. Let's just watch this 2.5 hour movie that I saw 10 times when I was younger. Let me just appreciate this one more time, right? Because I've forgotten some of the details. So let me just rewatch this. I did that with Joker, you know. I'm like, I gotta watch it again. I'm thinking about watching it a third time in theaters, because I'm telling myself, the way I've been rationalizing it recently is like, I'm fucking when if Taxi Driver, if I was alive when Taxi Driver was in theaters, I probably would have felt similar, right? Like I wouldn't have known. Maybe I would have. I don't know. But this just feels like one of those movies, like almost once in a lifetime, but like once in a decade, let's say. Once every once every once every time the world we're told is gonna end, right? First it was like 1999 when it turned to 2000. Something's gonna happen. I think. I don't know. I was fucking 4 years old by then. And then it was like 2010, right? Wasn't there a movie with like John Cusack? And he's fucking driving through like flaming volcanoes and meteorites and shit to get to an RV in the middle of the desert. um, yeah. Um, and fucking I need to get some sleep is what I need to do. I'm gonna go get some fucking sleep and let you guys do the same. Cause who knows when you're hearing this, but odds are you probably need some sleep. We all need a little bit more sleep in our lives. So have a good night and good rest.